My ex thought he could abuse me, abandon his kids, and walk away with everything. He even tried to take my children from me. But in the end, I walked away with something he never saw coming, his retirement. If you've ever dreamed of karma hitting someone exactly where it hurts, then you'll love this story. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share your own revenge tales in the comments. Let's dive in. When I think back to the beginning of this nightmare, it almost feels like a different lifetime. Back then, I thought I was building a family. I thought marriage meant partnership, support, love. Instead, what I got was a man who chipped away at me piece by piece till I was left powerless. When our first child was born, he forced me to quit my job. It wasn't a discussion. It wasn't a choice. He looked me in the eye and said, "You'll stay home. I'll provide." At the time, it felt like sacrifice for our baby's well-being. I told myself it was noble, but deep down, it was control. By the time our second child was a toddler, the truth started to unravel. That's when I discovered his affair. And as if betrayal wasn't enough, the man I married had already transformed into something crueler, someone verbally, emotionally, and sometimes physically abusive. But the breaking point, that came when he laid his hands on our firstborn. I remember the night vividly, his voice raised, the sound of a slap, and my child's cries. My body moved before my brain did. I shoved him out of the house. That was 2012. And in that moment, I swore I would never let him break me again. But life wasn't simple after that. I had 2 children, no job, no family support, and daycare costs that were more than I could possibly afford. And my ex, he refused to give me a single dime. He sneered at me and said, "The courts haven't ordered me to give you a dime. Don't expect a thing." Not only did he withhold money, he actively tried to destroy me financially. He lied to the bank and had my accounts frozen. When I filed for default in the divorce, he physically assaulted me. I felt trapped in quicksand every time I tried to climb out. He shoved me back under. Finally, after 6 agonizing months, the judge ordered him to pay child and spousal support, $2,562 a month. It should have been a relief, but of course, he refused to pay until garnishment kicked in. By then, he was already $6,000 behind. That actually worked in my favor. I used his delinquency to get permission from the court to move away with my children. For the first time, I felt a flicker of freedom. A year later, for the first time in a long time, there was hope again. I checked the divorce documents carefully, and there was this little box about spousal support ending upon remarriage. It wasn't checked. That meant legally, my spousal support continued. Instead of filing for a share of his retirement, I let it go. I figured keeping that extra year of spousal support, about $12,000, was a fair trade. But of course, my ex wasn't done trying to make my life hell. In 2017, out of nowhere, he filed for sole custody of our kids. It was a punch to the gut. My hands trembled as I read the papers. Sole custody after everything, after the abuse, the neglect. But this was also when he learned I had which meant, according to him, I had been overpaid spousal support during the first year of my new marriage. He wanted that money back. I told him flat out, I took that money instead of filing for half your retirement. You can let me keep it, or I'll go after your 401k. He didn't budge. He demanded repayment. The judge ruled that I had to repay the spousal support, but here's the twist. The repayment came directly out of his child support obligation, and when the math was done, it meant I actually got an extra $20 a month while he slowly reimbursed himself. On top of that, he dropped his custody case in exchange for 2 extra weeks with the kids in the summer. At that point, I thought, fine, if he wants to play hardball, let's play. I pursued the retirement account split that set off a 4-year battle. He refused to cooperate. He dragged it out in every way possible, filing delays, ignoring paperwork, acting like it didn't exist. He thought if he stalled long enough, I'd give up. But the courts noticed. They sanctioned him, ordered him to pay me $600 a month for a year on top of child support. And they hit him with contempt charges. The walls were closing in on him, and he didn't even know what was coming next. Fast forward to January 2021, he proposed to his girlfriend a new life, a new beginning for him. Or so he thought. By May 2021, I finally received the disbursement from his 401k. And let me tell you, when I opened that letter, I nearly fell out of my chair. It wasn't $12,000. It wasn't double. It was 4 times that amount. I had tried to be fair. I thought letting that retirement account go in exchange for $12,000 of spousal support was reasonable. But his greed, his arrogance, his attempt to take my children away, that pushed me to act. He played stupid games. And he won stupid prizes. But the story doesn't end there. Not long ago, his fiancée emailed me. And the entitlement dripping from her words. You could practically taste it. She blamed me for the fact that he wouldn't marry her. She said, "It's your fault. You cleaned out his retirement account. You stole from him." I couldn't help but laugh. I told her the truth. I gave him the choice. He could have let me keep that spousal support, or he could force repayment and watch me file for the retirement split. He chose the latter. If he really wants to marry you, you can always get her response. I shouldn't have to sign a prenup because you robbed him. No, I didn't rob him. I fought for survival. I fought for my children. And in the end, I got justice. He never wanted me to be financially independent. He wanted me to beg, to suffer, to be powerless. Instead, I took his own tools of control and turned them against him. And now, when he looks at his retirement account, he doesn't see security. He sees me. The sweetest part of revenge isn't just the money. It's knowing that every step of this outcome was built by his own choices. If he hadn't cheated, if he hadn't been abusive, if he hadn't tried to take my kids, if he hadn't forced repayment, none of this would have happened. He wanted to bury me. Instead, he handed me the shovel and fell into the hole himself. This story is proof. Justice doesn't always come quickly, but when it does, it's worth every second of the wait. Sometimes the best revenge isn't rigid patience, persistence, and letting people destroy themselves with their own arrogance. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? Drop your story in the comments. I love to hear it. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that karma never forgets. Until next time, stay strong, stay sharp, and remember play stupid games, win stupid prizes.